Hey there guys, how are you? Happy 4th of July. I know, actually technically it's not even 4th of July anymore, it's 1:37 the day after. So about an hour and a half ago it was 4th of July. Anyway, I had an okay 4th of July. By the way, where I live there's a fireworks ban going on because it's so dry they don't want you to light off little fires everywhere and blow shit up. It didn't really stop me, but yeah, you're not supposed to. I get a few questions here and there. Hey John, do you have a Facebook? Yes, I do have a Facebook. That's where I post, random topics, questions, pictures. So you guys, I'll put like a little thing right here. That's what it is. Also, I'll put a link down below. So click that, like the Facebook page, and if you guys ever want to send me a message, that's probably any questions or anything you guys want to ask, do it down below on this video, okay? So next week, I'm going to do an all-new Q&A, and I'll cover all the questions down below under this video. So ask away, get creative, get dirty, then I start getting uncomfortable. That's a lie. I don't get uncomfortable. I don't care. Just put me in a dark room with a little bit of Vaseline, turn off the lights, give me Tiny Todd, and we're going to have a good night. By the way, Tiny Todd is missing. I don't know where he went. We'll cover that later, though. Anyway, let's jump into the questions, and I've got some good ones here. How did your Blu-ray movie addiction start? I've always bought movies that I liked. I never went out and bought every single movie, but over the years, I've always bought a movie that I liked, maybe a couple times a month. But what happened was, in 2009, me and my friend randomly stopped in a pawn shop just to look around, and I realized they were selling DVDs for $2. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is this real? Hey, dude, these are $2. Let's buy them. So, I mean, the first couple weeks we bought like 100 DVDs, and then we started going every week, and I mean, once I realized they were so cheap, I started buying them. I could never afford to buy that many movies if they were all $20. I spend like $2 to $5 on movies. Sometimes I try to find them for free. I trade things. So I find good deals. I don't spend $30 a Blu-ray or anything like that. Also, he asks, what other hobbies do you have other than watching movies and playing games? I like to draw. I used to draw a lot. I do some graphic design work here and there, so I like to fiddle around on Photoshop. I used to go bowling quite a bit. I was kind of good at bowling. I need to make a how-to video, how to bowl, kind of, and it just shows me all flopping the ball, but I got strikes. I don't know how it happened. So that's what I like to do. Also, I like to go to the gym, work out, lift weights. That's kind of like a new hobby I've had, and I'm kind of addicted to it, It gives me a reason to listen to Batman music and feel like a hard ass. Let's go to the next question here. If you were a cartoon character, what would your name and personality be? That's a good question. That is, to be honest with you, I think SpongeBob SquarePants would kind of be what I would be, except make him a little more rated R, a little more of an asshole, and not so passive. And by the way, I read that question before I turned on the video camera. I did a little sketch of myself as a cartoon character. That's what I would be. I would be SpongeBob SquarePants mixed with Bart Simpson. Yeah, but make Bart Simpson more of a teenager, and that would be me. Can you please watch the Harry Potter movies and review them as you watch them? Here's what I will give you, if I can get it. I'm trying right now to work on getting that special super duper Blu-ray edition of Harry Potter that comes out in a few months. So if I do get that edition, which is like $180 or something, I will do a big blown out review of each Harry Potter movie, something that takes a few minutes for each movie. Yeah, alright. Why don't you answer any of my questions, Johnny boy? See, if you would have asked a question there, I would have answered it. See? Alright. Is there more to life than just banging strippers and snorting coke off of their asses? No. My question is, who's your favorite director, and have you ever seen the 1975 movie Barry Lyndon, directed by Stanley Kubrick? I've heard of Barry Lyndon, I believe, but I have never seen it. My favorite director right now would probably be Christopher Nolan, just because he's yet to make a bad movie, so he's got the best track record. Marvel or DC Comics? DC Comics has Batman, enough said. Do you prefer big tits or a big ass on a chick? Don't answer both. To be honest with you, I've never dated a girl with huge boobs. I said dated, okay? But I miss high school. I really do. I don't know. I like the bigger upper body more than the lower body, just because I'm more of like, I like a trophy on my mantle. And I feel like with the lower half, she always has to be standing up to get what you need. I'd rather, I sound like a sexist pig asshole right now, don't I? But it's true. If you could spend the whole day with one Hollywood actress, who would it be and what would you do, besides the obvious? An interesting woman in Hollywood. I don't know, that's a tough question. Someone just to talk to and dig in their brain. I don't know, Emma Stone seems like she'd be pretty cool to hang out with. Like, she seems like she'd be a fun date, Who would win in a fight? Fully grown alpha male silverback gorilla or fully grown alpha male grizzly bear? I'm going to go with the grizzly bear. Because grizzly bears have claws and gorillas do not. Plus, I don't think gorillas don't actually eat meat, do they? I don't think gorillas, I think they're vegetarians, and grizzly bears are meat eaters, so he would have more incentive to kill him and eat him. What the fuck what the fuck is this, the Discovery Channel right now? Would you want to work in the movie industry? Yeah, of course. If I lived closer to LA, I would try to maybe do something, maybe be like an intern where I bring people coffee or something. Okay, what's happening here? Okay, anyway, do you think Anne Hathaway will do a good job as Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises? Or do you think she'll try too hard, like she did in one day? I think I'm curious to see. So far from what I've gotten of the trailers of Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, I think she looks befitting. She looks the part, kind of, to me. And I think she'll kind of give that Catwoman-like twing that they're looking for. Very seductive, sexy-like. So I think she looks okay in the trailers. I think it'll be good. What are your favorite cult classic films, any decade? I'm going to go with some 90s here. Well, you know what? I'll go with some 70s, too. Cult classics, for me, like The Warriors. Technically, it did okay at the box office, but it's one of those forgotten movies, which to me became a cult classic over the last 10 years. Dazed and Confused didn't make a lot of money in the first part of it, but Dazed and Confused is one of my favorite movies of all time. Another cult classic movie would be Maximum Overdrive, starring Emilio Estevez. But 1980s cult classics. I'm going to have to think of some good 1980s cult classics. American Psycho, which isn't a 1980s cult classic, but that didn't really make a lot at the box office, but to me that's kind of like a cult classic. If you could be any character from the Goonies, who would you be and why? I'd be the Asian boy because I have a fascination with booby traps. One time when I was 8 years old, I made booby traps in my grandmother's kitchen. I tied a whole bunch of shoestrings together, and then I put like mouse traps on the floor, but nothing happened. She walked in and looked at it, and then she made me go outside. Yeah, true story there. Can you say the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog in Christopher Walken's voice? The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. I know that's not good, but what camera and editing software do you use to make your videos? What I use is Windows Movie Maker, and I do a rough edit of the video. And then to add all the graphics and music, I go to Pinnacle Pro or some shit like that, and I add all the special effects and things like that. Now, let me say, Pinnacle as an editing software is a pile of shit garbage that deserves to be flushed in the toilet. It comes out of the drain in a third world country. They pick it up, they think it's food, they eat it. It doesn't do anything but it gives them some kind of bacterial infection, and then they die. That's what Pinnacle is. It's garbage, and I hate it. It's glitchy, it crashes all the time. I do things in there to perfection, and then once I see my video done, it's all fucked up, it's not quite right. So don't buy Pinnacle. Could you imagine that being like an ad for Pinnacle, and then just says Pinnacle after it? What is a movie that you love but everyone else hates? Also, what do you think is the most underrated actor in Hollywood? A movie that I love that everyone else hates. Over the Top. Over the Top. Wait for it. Encino Man. I like Encino Man. Something about that just reminds me of like a fun time in the 90s. And underrated Hollywood actor of today would probably be, you know, I would have said Tom Hardy a year or two ago, but now I think people are starting to take notice. So as of now, whew, that's a toughie. That's a toughie. Who the fuck am I? Just bear with me. Just bear with me for a second here. I want to answer your question, but I can't. It's too hard. Okay. Have you ever considered walking around your local area in your Batman costume, all while speaking like Batman and moving like Batman? No, I haven't. I'd be too embarrassed. You know what? I had an idea for that, but if I could get a good cameraman, I might consider it. On a scale 1 to 10, how straight are you? I'm 9 out of 10 straight. You know, there's that little 10% there where I'd never touch a man, I'd never let a man touch me, but you can look at it for $5. What are your 5 favorite actors who are not Patrick Swayze? Tom Hardy, Christian Bale, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just because something about the guy just reminds me of all the good times of my life. Number 4 would probably be, I like Kevin Costner. I know. And then I also like, I always got to look at my movies to remind myself what I'm doing. Number 5 would probably be Mel Gibson. I don't know why. I've always liked Mel Gibson. Is there a Last Action Hero sequel? And wait, if there was a Last Action Hero sequel and you were cast as Danny character, which action star would you like to take Arnold Schwarzenegger's place? Ooh, I could be Danny, that little asshole who wore the Detroit Lions jacket. That'd be awesome. So I couldn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger. I would probably pick. I don't want to say Stallone. It's too typical. How about like, you know, it'd be interesting? You know, who's a good action star nowadays? I mean, I think The Rock would probably be there, but I don't have enough nostalgia to go pick The Rock to be the guy I'm stuck with. You know, I need somebody I can relate to, somebody I can really talk to. Let's go with Clint Eastwood, okay? I want Clint Eastwood, damn it. What is the most you've spent on a Blu-ray and what is it worth? The most I've spent on a Blu-ray is like $70 and it was the Star Wars Blu-ray set. If you were to direct a movie, what is it going to be about and what genre, the actors and so forth? I've always had this idea for a movie where it's this kid who's seen one too many heist bank robbery movies. He's probably in high school, maybe early college, but anyway, and he's seen one too many heist movies like Point Break, Heat, so he wants to like reenact those movies, and he goes on these heists. Like he tries to break into like the most random places, but he does it so over the top. And it's not about the money; it's just about, you know, the funness of it. That was my idea. And it'd be kind of like an action comedy. And I think I would like somebody like Matthew Vaughn to direct it. I think that'd be like a fitting, like kind of think of Kick-Ass, kind of my idea. Are you a virgin? No, I wish. I would still feel clean inside. I feel like I've sinned against humanity. Have you ever been to Sundance? No, but hey, if I could get tickets, I'd be going. Hey John, don't know if this has been asked before, but who are your top 5 favorite Mortal Kombat characters? Let's go with we're gonna go with Sub-Zero, Scorpion. I've always had a thing for Cyrex. Don't ask questions. Let's give another one. Another one would probably be I like Baraka. I don't know why. I've always liked Baraka. Reptile's a badass too. The only people I don't like is Johnny Cage and Liu Kang. That's really it. I don't know why. When do you work out? I work out every other day, and usually the day I get off, I work out pretty hardcore. And usually I work in the evenings, usually after that I go to work out. So every other day I try to work out. What was your favorite show as a kid? I love the animated Batman show. I used to watch it every day when I came home from school. Do you have a foot fetish? No, but I like women with very curvy, small feet. I've never put them in my mouth, but I've considered it. Do you have a job? Yes, I do. I've answered that. If you had the opportunity to kill someone famous or not, who would it be and why? I don't know if I'd want to kill them, but I'd like to maim them and then let them know when they look down at that nub of an arm that I chopped off, they remember me. And I think Justin Bieber would be a good person. I know everyone hates Justin Bieber, but that kid he seems so ungrateful for what he has, and I want to remind him of what respect is. So I'd like to hurt him. What famous person has the best mustache? Tom Selleck. Who played the best Inspector Colossal? Peter Sellers or Steve Martin? Inspector Colossal. I can't even think of what the fuck that is all of a sudden. I like Steve Martin, though, better than Peter Sellers. Have you ever seen the movie Breaking Away? Yes, I have seen the movie Breaking Away. Interesting tidbit. My mom's cousin was going to IU University. This is around the area that the movie was filmed. And she's in the parade scene as the queen or whatever, the prom queen or whatever. She's sitting on the back of a car waving. Breaking Away is a great movie, and I want to buy that on DVD. That's a good movie. Who is your most hated director? Ari Boll, the guy with no talent. He's an asshole. I think he's from Germany. Have you ever tried crawfish before? No, I have not. Do you think there is a limit, a threshold, at which you have one too many Blu-rays? I'm almost out of room on my Blu-ray shelf back there, and as long as you like all the movies you have for one reason or another, there's not a limit. But if you start just buying movies to have them and you don't even plan on watching them, it's fucking stupid to me. Like, I try to at least have movies that I want to watch at one point or another. Yeah. What will happen if you were unstoppable and fought Jason Voorhees? You have powers like in the movie Chronicle. What I would do is I'd put Jason Voorhees' head underwater. I'd call him a stupid little retard. I'd be like, your mother doesn't love you. That's why she wasn't watching you. It wasn't the camp counselor's fault. Wait, no, I wouldn't do that. He was away on camp. Why would his mother be there? That makes me an asshole. I'd still put him underwater and make him cry, you know? Oh, you don't like water? I'm sorry, Jason. Yeah, let's keep moving here. By the way, how are you guys? I'm answering these. How are you guys doing today? I'm thirsty. By the way, if you guys didn't hear me at the beginning, ask your questions down below. Anything and everything. Do you like Wait. Let's skip over some questions I've already answered here. Do you plan to buy Lord of the Rings: The Motion Picture Trilogy Extended Blu-ray Edition? Probably not. Do you think The Dark Knight Rises will Bane break Batman's back like in the comics? I think Bane will definitely fuck Batman up in some extent. If you look at the trailers, I mean, you got Christian Bale laying there like this, so something happened to his spine. How much money do you spend a year on Blu-rays? Not that much. I don't really do that many other expensive hobbies in life, so not that much. What are your top three favorite movie reviewers on YouTube? I love Red Letter Media. They have their own website. That's usually where I watch their videos, but they have YouTube videos. Red Letter Media, I definitely like them. And I watch all my friends too. I watch Stuckman. I watch my Crazy Jason. He reviews movies every once in a while. So yeah, I'll go with them. I like people who aren't scared to get in depth with reviews. You know, I find myself sometimes trying to cut out the in-depth part that I'm talking about. Like, I'll talk about the most random part of a movie for like 10 minutes, but I cut it out. Because I know, generally speaking, people on YouTube want a 3-minute movie review where people are going, and this movie was awesome because he did this, wow! And then it jumps cut to something else. And reviews that do that give me a headache. It's just like, I'm not getting any substance. I need a little more substance. And sometimes I find myself cutting out my own substance in reviews, but I need to get back on track sometimes and not try to be so jump cutty. Did you ever made a gay experience? You know, in high school, a lot of guys all took showers together, and there was this game, and I never participated, but I was a spectator, and the thing was, you were supposed to pee on somebody when they weren't looking, and that's pretty weird, right? That's Jesus. Which woman is your dream woman? Give me Natalie Portman or give me Amber Heard. Either one I'll take. What is your yearly salary? Not a lot, man. Not a lot. You know, but I'm one of those guys, if you can give me $30,000 a year, fucking canoe, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do when I'm rich. I'm gonna buy a canoe and paddle down the fucking river. No, give me 30 grand a year, and I blew all my money. Do you like anime? If so, what is your favorite titles? I don't like anime. A lot of my friends like anime shows. I just could never get into it. What is the sickest thing you've ever seen? Man, go to crazyshit.com after this video. Just don't do it now, but that is a site, man. There's some nasty shit going on there. Can you fly? Only when I'm high. I don't do drugs. I just said that to be cool. Are you a wrestling fan? If so, do you watch TNA? Who is your favorite current wrestler? I don't actually watch wrestling. Like, every once in a while I'll be flipping and I'll stop on WWE for like 10 minutes just to see it. I used to be a huge wrestling fan back in the late 90s, but then I felt like wrestling just went down the shitter. Speaking of wrestling, I actually went to a WWE Raw show a couple weeks ago just for the hell of it, you know? Just, why not, you know? It was in town, I wanted to see it, and I was going to make a video about that. Maybe I'll do that soon. I got some footage of it. But right now, I think my favorite wrestlers are going to be, I used to love Stone Cold and Mankind. Like, those were my favorite wrestlers. But right now, CM Punk, I think he's fun to watch. I used to like Brock Lesnar. He's back right now, but Brock Lesnar was always pretty badass. Who would you rather punch in the face? Oh, RVD. RVD is one of my favorite wrestlers. Who would you rather punch in the face, Coney or George Lucas? I'd like to just... I'd like to punch Coney in the face, yeah, sure. I mean, he is a child murderer, but George Lucas is also a child murderer. And I'd like to just grab his little gray beard, rip off his plaid shirt, smack his belly, and say, hey, George, the talent is gone. You're done here. Stop. By the way, can I get some money? If you could rule the world, which country would be your base of operations? Canada. I just don't feel like anyone wants to fuck with Canada. You know, they're just like, we're just up here in Canada, assholes, eh? You know, playing hockey, don't fuck with us, we're cool. So I feel comfortable there. Which movie are you more excited for, The Dark Knight or The Avengers? The Dark Knight. Just give me The Dark Knight. You know, who's your favorite YouTube movie reviewer? Honestly, I'd have to say Red Letter Media. If you could choose to be an analog clock or a digital clock, which one would you be? I'd like to be the analog clock, because the digital clock just doesn't have a heart, you know? At least I could be ticking all day long and moving. That's a good question, by the way. That was good. I like that. I like that. What film would stay with you for the rest of your life? I know I already asked, just posting again in case you didn't see it. A movie that will stay with me for the rest of my life will probably be Stand By Me, because it reminds me of life, and Point Break, because it reminds me to not be a pussy, to stand up against the system, because it's not about the money, man. It's about us against the system. It's about showing that the human spirit is still alive. While everybody else is inching down the highway in their metal coffins, we're out kicking ass. That's what Point Break taught me. What do you think of Pokemon? Not much. Pikachu's a fuckwad. That's what I think of Pokemon. Okay. When was the last time you watched The Dark Knight? I actually watched The Dark Knight 4 days ago. 4 days ago is when I watched The Dark Knight. Oh, I rock my socks. 1111. Yeah, you've asked. Yeah, I remember you. Okay. I remember you asked me another question before. Are you still gonna do those gameplay commentary videos? Yeah, ever since I joined with Machinima on my other channel, the Flick Pick, I am allowed to do gameplay videos now. I'm just kind of waiting for the time and the right game. You know, I think Borderlands 2 would be a fun game to play. Also, I would really like if they came out with like a new Mortal Kombat movie, or a new Mortal Kombat game or something. I know they just did, but I want another one that's new and topical. So whenever I get into a game, definitely Call of Duty. I will do some Call of Duty gameplay footage when the new one comes out. I think in November. What are your favorite Grindhouse movies? I never got into the Grindhouse movies, man. I never really got into them, so I can't really say I have a favorite. If you only had 5 minutes left to live, what would you do? The only thing I could do, well, I could probably do it 3 times in 5 minutes, and use your perverted imagination. That Tiny Todd is such a smug bastard, and he just sits there, mocks you while you do your videos, and you have a speech impediment. He did actually say that. I did. I don't know why you have not kicked his ass in a long time. You know, that's a good fucking idea. Tiny Todd, where are you? Tiny Todd. He's fucking hiding. I don't know where Tiny Todd is right now, to be honest with you. What is your workout routine? Okay, I'll sum it up real quick. I go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, and I don't do a lot of legs. I have chicken legs. I do like legs once a week at best. Usually when I go in there, I do a lot of curls. I do pull-ups. I do a lot of shoulders, and I do a lot of shoulder shrugs. I want a Tom Hardy-like build that he has in Warrior. That's where I'm going. Also, I don't really do a lot of abs. I do a lot of back arms. I do a lot of dips. I do forearms where I take the barbell and I hold it down here, and I do that. I don't hold it like this, but I hold it down by my side. Yeah, I stand there like this and do it, and people just look at me. So anyway, I need to make a video talking about what I do at the gym. I get a lot of questions on that. Would you guys want to see a video where I talk about like what I do at the gym, maybe show a few clips? I don't know. I don't want to turn this into like a fitness workout channel, but I think it'd be interesting, right? So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to end the video right here. So make sure you ask your questions down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys soon with another video, and then next week I'll see you with an all-new Q&A where I answer all the new questions. So yeah, I'm sweating. I'm actually look at me. Look how shiny my forehead is right there. Looks like a fucking disco ball. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.